Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. As you can tell, I have moved my computer. That came out of a necessity. I will be starting a new job at the end of the month. It's going to be largely working remote. Um, and so subsequently, the desk that the computer was on is actually going to be needed for my work computer when I'm working. So we moved it back onto the craft table. Those of you complaining about the lighting, hopefully this makes it better. Otherwise, I really don't have any other options. So it is what it is. I got a new mug. This was my congratulations, you have a new job mug. I got it at Walmart for $3. But it was super cute, and I couldn't pass it up. Um, all right, so let's dive into the Q&A. I have a quasi haul. So I've got a little bit of haul. We've got some Q&A, and then we've got because the way this month falls, the next video isn't going to be until after February starts. So you're going to get my February goals, but not my WIPGO goals. So yeah, you're going to get... So it's going to be kind of weird just because of the way it fell. We haven't gotten our WIPGO goals, obviously, because those don't come until the 27th. And we don't know what our weekly tasks and monthly tasks in Magical Stitches are going to be yet. So we'll just do what we can, and then probably have a super packed next video. Alright, so let's dive right on in with the Q&A. First to Sarah R., who says she just finished working her way through all of my videos. Boy, that was a haul, and I'm glad you made it through. I don't really think I even want to try to imagine just how long that must have taken you. She said, her question is, that she's only so far used DMC and wants to try using some gently variegated threads. She likes bright, clear colors. Is there a company you could recommend for me, as I live a long way from shops that sell overdyes and can only get it online, and it is hard to know exactly what the color will be? My recommendation, if you want colors that aren't wildly variegated, that are much more subtle, I would strongly recommend Classic Colorworks. Theirs tend to be a softer variant. Now, that isn't to say that you don't have some that are going to have multiple colors or more drastic shading, but theirs tends to be more subtle, where Gentle Arts tends to be a little bit more, well, inconsistent dye lot-wise, whereas Classic Colorworks seems fairly consistent. So I would recommend Classic Colorworks. I personally like them. I really love Gentle Art. What little I've gotten to use of Color and Cotton I really like. But I would definitely recommend any of those three, but definitely Classic Colorworks. And for shopping, you can't beat Fire Poppies. Their shipping is phenomenal. Their prices are great. They send you candy with your order, usually, which is pretty awesome. So that would be my recommendation. Avon Malek asks, what is the Magical Stitches you refer to? Is this a Facebook group? The answer is yes. It started back in, I think, 2018 with Jane Austen reading, where they read Jane Austen novels like one every other month. And then in 2019, it exploded when they did a Harry Potter theme. And that's when a whole bunch of us participated. Then they did a Disney theme, then they did Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and this year they're doing a cozy mystery series. Now, I'm not reading the series along with them, but I am doing the challenges because it's not a competition this year. It's a mystery solving year, which is kind of fun. So it is unfortunately a closed group. Because of the nature that they did this year, they didn't want people joining mid-year because of the story that's unfolding. So it is closed for this year, but basically you have weekly tasks and monthly tasks that you meet with stitching goals. This year you set the weekly goal yourself. The monthly goal is separate. There's also yearly challenges, but I'm not doing any of the yearly challenges. So that's, yeah. So that's how that goes. But it's a lot of fun. Rose City Stitcher says, I have a question about Petite Treasure Braid. How many strands do you use when using it instead of Krynic on Mirabilias? Generally, regardless of what it is, I will use one strand. Now, the exception to that is on my Cryptids. Because it's on Ada, I felt like it needed a double strand. But on Even Weaver Linen, one strand seems to be fine. And I'm not sure if it's because I think I'm using a 14 count Ada. And I think that's why. But generally, it's just 1 for 1. But definitely check your own thickness. If you feel like it needs more, go for a second strand. Anne Musso asks, did you say Victoria Motto Sampler is having a stitch along on Facebook? And the answer is yes. She is. It is a free one. The 3rd week just came out. They're real small, easy bite size. The first part took about 2 hours. Parts 2 and 3 took me less than half an hour to do. So they're pretty quick and easy. You can knock it out. Like I knocked out both this week's and last week's after I finished my Cryptid. So they're very quick and easy. Won't take you any time at all. Deborah Dixon asks, let's talk counting pins. Do I find them useful? Do you just count and push it through as a space holder and then count more from there? I actually don't use counting pins. I generally don't start a project that requires ridiculous amounts of counting to get to the starting point. If I can't figure out if I can't start it in the middle, I usually, this usually applies to mystery samplers, if I can't start it in the middle, I generally wait until I can start it in the middle. Or if I can't start it in a corner where it's obvious, like, oh, here's the corner and you only need to count like 10. If I have to count more than about 10, I'm not going to touch it, because that's just too much. But if the sort of exception to that would be if I'm trying to figure it out for spacing, like on my Hige stories, then I'll use just a regular sewing pin just to sort of go, okay, here's where the border of this is, let's measure 2 inches over, here's where this is, so let's find the center so we'll find the center from here, but that's really about all I do. So I mean, I guess I do sort of find them useful, but I don't do anything more than just, do I even have them where I can reach them from here? I have, they hang out in a nice, this is a vintage Fiesta Wear Scooby mug from 97 or 98? 98, from the Warner Brothers store, and I wish I had more of the series than just the mug, but my mother was not about to infiltrate her Fiesta Wear with Scooby-Doo Fiesta Wear, with the exception of the mug. But they're these Tula Pink unicorn stick pins. I use those for the counting. And that's all I use them for, because I don't like them trying to use them to actually sew with. Alright, Rainy Day Stitcher asks a good question. She says, can you explain your rotation? How much time/stitches do you do before moving on? That is a very good question. How does my rotation work? Because sometimes I don't even know. How I'm working it this year, because it changes. It's constantly in flux. So, here is my little planner. So, what I've got is over here on this side. I have the list of the whips. Now, what's not in this list is my work project, which in this case happens to be Cryptids, or any stitch-alongs. Because the stitch-along goal is usually to finish the part before you move on to the next one. At least in terms of active stitch-alongs. So I list the pattern there, and then my goal on it. So that's sort of the deciding factor on when to stop on a project. So what I usually will do is I'll look at the pattern itself and go, okay, this seems like it's a reasonable, attainable amount for this month. Now, sometimes I'll get in it and go, you know what, this was way too much. This is like day 4 and I'm only halfway to this goal. Let's cut it and move on because this was too much. Occasionally I'll be like, wow, that only took me 35 minutes. Let's go a little bit farther. Because that has happened to me. Where I grossly underestimated what it was going to take. Not to that quite extreme, but where it's like, oh, this really didn't take all that long. Then what I'm doing is I look, now, if it's the new moon, new start, or like in the case of the Betty White one, that's just a 1 day only. I'm starting it on this day, and I'm not going to worry about doing anything further. So what I'm doing is I go through and I look at the weekly tasks for magical stitches. Each of those gets a project assigned to it, and I work those. I know I'm going to start on that Monday, because usually on a weekend day, if I pull something out on a weekend day, I'm only going to work on it that day because I have so much time to work. And then once I meet my goal on it that week, then I move on to the next one. So, for instance, this week, weekly task number 3 was for our most colorful, which was the project that had the most number of colors in it. Which in my case was inspiration from Rosewood Manor. So, I knew I was going to work on that day. So what I do is I assign my weekly ones. Those I decrease their value on the whip wheel. And then from there I just, as I finish a weekly or as I need to, then I spin the wheel to pick out whatever my next project is. I don't know if that made any sense. So basically, my goal, when I reach the goal, or I decide, you know what, no, I've really done enough on this, then I go ahead and rotate. I have a wheel that I spin to tell me which one to work on next. However, if something has been marked for a weekly task, I take it out of I paid for the wheel thing so I can weight them, so I reduce its weight to like 1, and everything else stays at 99. So that way I'm less likely for one of them to accidentally get picked, and if so, then I just spin the wheel again. And then obviously when I get down to the last one, I know that's the last one. If there are days left over at the end of the month, then that's usually when I'll go back and go, you know what, I really kind of wanted to get a little more done on this one. For instance, Aurora is one this month that I'll try and go back to, as well as the Veronique and Enginger Little Mermaid, because I have the frocking to do. Which I have a feeling I'll be able to. So, yeah. So, I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, message me and I'll try to explain it better. Maybe. We'll see how I do. But that was sort of that. Alright, so the haul for this week. As you have all heard, if you've been watching me, I'm an aurifil artisan. There's been shipping delays pretty much all year because of COVID and things like that. So my order for Little Red Riding Hood was coming from Italy. And it wasn't going to get here in time to start. So the company graciously sent me a best selection, because I wanted to do this one all in the 28 weight, because the 3 real weights that are designed for cross stitch are obviously the Aurora Floss, the 12 weight, and the 28 weight. And since I've done one project partially with floss, partially with 12 weight, one all in 12 weight, I wanted to do one in the 28 weight so that I could really compare and give a good response to anyone out there who was curious. So they sent me the best selection 48 of the 28, best selection, it's 45 of the 28 weights. And they're beautiful colors. Unfortunately, the colors were not enough to really get me started, so I actually had to use some 12 weight and some floss to start Little Red. But there's the set. But that's okay, because these are all really bright, vibrant colors, and I should be able to, on like a SodaStitch or something else, very easily slot them in. It just so happened that this one's colors were so autumnal themed that it didn't work so well. But like I said, I will happily find other places to use it. And the good news is the actual order did come in this week, so I can switch back over to the 28 weight. The nice thing, which you'll see when I show you the work in progress on it, actually I guess I can go ahead and do that now. What did I work on this week? Okay, when did I last see y'all? Okay, well, we'll jump ahead a little bit, because this is also what I'm going to work on today. So, this is on Ale from Picture This Plus. This is the Little Red Riding Hood Parade from Frosted Pumpkin. That's who they are. Okay, so the white is 28. The peach, the peach is all, sort of peachy color is all, is Aurora Floss. The yellow is Aurora Floss. And the brown and the dark red are, the 12 weight. And you can see just how seamlessly they work together. I'll try to get some better pictures when I post my update on this one this week. I'm going to be working on it on Sundays for the foreseeable future, trying to keep on top of that. Weekends are really good days, really good for Sal days, really and truly, because I usually get a fair amount of time to work. Pardon me. Okay, so what else did I work on? Well, I worked on the Satsuma Street Alice. My goal was to finish the tree. Which, I did finish the tree. I think I may actually leave the big green leaves out. So I started stitching the cat to see how that was going to look. This is on Elphaba from Under the Sea Fabrics. So we shall see. That's where I got started, though. Yes. So that's where I'm at on that. The goal next month is going to be to finish this part. So finish the cat and then make the decision. If I feel like I need to do the leaves on the tree, then I will go ahead and I will do the leaves. But if not, then I'll just leave it as is. But it looked fairly good looks good without it, so I think I may spare myself a little bit there. Then I worked on Aurora from Brooke's Books. This is on just a general blue. I think it was a Picture This Plus. I don't really know. It wasn't marked, and I've had it for forever. So the goal was to, and that was actually my weekly task number 2, which was my oldest whip. So here she is. I got all the pink done. On the left-hand side, at least. So the plan for next month is to do a full panel over here, because I think there's about 3, what I would consider a panel of a skirt. 2 to 3 of those left. And then we'll try and do the blue all together, and then we'll kind of finish her up. So there she is in all her beauty. So that was my weekly goal number 2. Let's see. Is this? Oh, okay. All right. So the Victoria Sampler Souvenir Salve. This one's all up to date. This is on a 25 count white Lugana that supposedly has a pink stain, but God only knows where it is. I can't find it. But it was the perfect size. So part 2 was this pink Rhodes Heart, which I actually used the 28 count Aurafill for. And then part 3 was this Bargello, which I used 12 weight Aurafill on. So I'm mostly using the colors that she suggests. The biggest change was I did a purple house instead of a yellow house, because we all know how well I love purple. So yeah, this one's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this one grows. So we get a weekly one. I think it's supposed to end in April, so I guess that makes it roughly a 16-part sale. Like I said, the parts aren't very big. Okay, so that was what I worked on that last weekend, this week. Let's see. Worked on Haunted House. This is on a one-off from Fortnite Fabrics. So my goal was I wanted to finish up, here's the pattern, finish up the outline of the house and all that. And here it is. So I did achieve that. So the house is built. And everything is there. So this month I will get to do the first floor, which is a ghost, a mummy, a vampire, and a Bride of Frankenstein. So looking forward to that. And I'm hoping to use some fun colors. Oh, pardon me. Okay. I'll show you cryptids in a second. Then, inspiration was weekly task 3, and my goal was a page finish, which I'm short 1 color. Still, because apparently when I went to the store and got what I thought was the color I needed, I actually just bought a second of a color I already had. So there's one little bit, and then there's some backstitching that I have to wait until it's finished. But this is on a yellow fabric from Picture This Plus. But page 3 is basically done. All that's missing is there's a color here, and then there's some backstitching on this urn, but because there's part of it that carries over, I thought, I'd rather, instead of have it sort of dangling, I'll finish it when I do the next page. So the plan, of course, is to do another page next month. So we're a little over halfway across the top. So alright, then I worked on Southsea's Mermaid, and my goal was to finish her skin, which I did. She looks gorgeous. Like, I'm really, really proud of this conversion. For those who are curious, I will tell you what it is. So, I did redo her lightest skin tone because it was too drastic, and I'm real happy with what I went with. So this is on Moana from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. I used there's I used 4 colors, but there's 2 blends. So darkest to lightest is 300, a blend of 300 and 632, 632, a blend of 632 and 356, then 356, and then 3778. But she turned out really, really good. So my goal next month is we're just going to do the, we're going to try and finish the top half of her. I say the top half, really, it's whatever's on that side. And I'll hold this back far enough. So basically we're going to try and finish this all here, because that's really all that's left on that half of the page, and then we'll start in on the rest of her tail. So... Okay, which brings us, I did start the Betty White Walk Fast. I frogged the leash 4 times and got frustrated and said, no, I'm putting this away. Also, I wasn't too happy with the way the yellow was coming up on my fabric. So, it was started, not terribly happy with how it's going, so it's just going away for the time being. So then we've got Cryptids. Alright, so Cryptids is almost done. This is by the Witchy Stitcher. It is on a... It's on an Ada. Where's my... oh no, it's 16 count. Victoria from Deerfoot Fibers. So, I did finish... The border is all done. I finished that on Thursday night. So all that's left is, because I still do work a little bit this week. So here's where I'm at. I'm going to take it to work to finish up this, which I'll probably finish in a day, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do from there. But here it is. This is done all in 12 weight Aurifil. The exception being the metallic is a combination of Rainbow Gallery and Krynic. So we've got 1 left to go. I'm also going to be submitting this as my Aurifil Artisan Challenge piece this month. So you'll have that to look forward to. And I've pretty much, the only real, I did some, obviously I changed the colors of the moons to be metallic. And they show up much better in person than they're showing up here. I gave, if they've got red eyes, they have glowy red eye, metallic red eyes. If they had yellow eyes, they have gold eyes. I left the black eyes just straight black, because really and truly, there's not enough. Most black metallics in that small space are so subtle, you can't tell that they're metallic, so why bother? I did their names and the word cryptids all in a dark metallic blue. I did a light metallic red along the bottom. And then, because I goofed, this brown and this corner are the same. But then when I came over to do this one, I grabbed the wrong one and didn't realize it. So this corner and this corner are the same. So I've got 2 different colors in the corners. But that's okay, because I made it work. So this one's been a lot of fun. I'm going to be sad to see it end. So the last part comes out on Friday. And I'm off that day, so that'll be nice. So I should have this one finished on the 28th. It'll be my first finish of the year, which is exciting. And then I think my next work piece will probably be, is going to be the Gira and Frank piece. And since we'll figure out how I'm going to make work pieces work when I work from home. Okay, so that is everything that I have worked on. So what am I working on this coming weeks? So see. First I gotta figure out which bag it's in. No. Okay, so for sure, that one, I think it's these two. So for sure, I will be working on, because it's weekly task number 4, Nutcracker. Because we were supposed to do, that one is on closest finish. And I didn't count my stitch along in that because it would mean I was going to have to wait to work on it. So this one's really my closest finish after that. This is on Gold Opal Christmas at Williamsburg from Under the Sea Fabrics. So the goal is to do this bottom part here. So we've got a biscuit square and then we've got some presents. So we'll work on that. And then my goal in February will be to finish it. All right. Then I've still got my Witchy, Mama Witch Cross Stitch Wicked Siblings. So I'll work on them after Nutcracker. My goal is going to be, there's 3 leaf things under here. So my goal is going to be to do those 3 leaf things. And then see how I do on that goal, and then we'll figure out what next month's goal is going to be, but it's probably going to be to finish up what's along here before I get started going along the top. So, I really do love this piece. And I'm excited to see it come together, and I'm ready for my ghosts. Okay, so that leaves left to talk about with plans for next month. I do want to try and bring back out my, before the end of the month, I want to fix my Veronica and Enginger Mermaid. This is on As You Wish from Under the Sea Fabrics. Set you there just for some ease. My goal on stitching Witches from Victoria Sampler for next month is to finish this top portion here. Which I think should be fairly easily done. Boop. And then, what's in here? Oh, and then my goal on Secret Garden from Tiny Modernist. And this one's on Moccasin from Fortnite Fabrics. Is to do the, there's a flower, I'll show, well, so that's where I'm at on it. My goal was the door for the month, which I did finish. My goal for this month is going to be to do that row of flowers and at least a portion of this border frame up here. And then depending on how long the flowers take, I may branch out and try and do like the tree or something, or yeah, we'll figure it out. My goal is over the next 2 months is to try and get like, so February here, because it's a shorter month, and then maybe March, and then like April, May, and then we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So, and then my new moon, new start, which will be February 1st, is going to be, according to my wheel, the French Kitchen from Hands On Design and Summer House Stitchworks. So, and I'll be stitching it on this piece from Fortnite Fabrics. It's Fairy Ring. So, and as of now, my plan is for them to all be just together on one piece of fabric. I need to sort of sit down and decide that for sure. Otherwise, I may do them each individually and send them off to Oliver to work his magic on. So, all right, that's it for me this week. I hope everyone has a great week. And I will see you all on February 6th. Bye.